Dogs like the Bloodhound have been in existence for centuries, used by noblemen to track game in the ritual of the hunt. The dogs take their name from the care taken in recording their ancestry or bloodlines, so they were blooded hounds. Today's bloodhounds descend from the Saint Hubert hound, created in the 8th century France to follow difficult trails in search of treacherous game such as wild boar. William the Conqueror brought Saint Hubert hounds with him when he conquered England in 1066, and it was there that the bloodhound eventually blossomed some 800 years later. The Victorians were famous for creating dog breeds as we know them today, as previously there had been no breed standards and rarely any record keeping of bloodlines. The rise of dog shows and a widespread interest in keeping of fine or rare animals helped to save many breeds from extinction. The Bloodhound was one of them. His ability as a man-trailer and the patronage of Queen Victoria, herself a noted dog lover, saved him from falling into oblivion. Man-trailing with bloodhounds became a popular leisure activity, and it didn't take long before the police recognized the bloodhound's usefulness in tracking down criminals. These days, the bloodhound is still a favored member of many law enforcement teams, and his testimony is even accepted in court. As his name indicates, the Malamute is native to Alaska. Early Eskimos who called themselves Inuit, meaning the people, were nomads who relied on dogs and sleds to transport themselves and their goods through their snowy, barren land. Besides pulling sleds or carrying burdens themselves, the dogs help hunters seek out polar bears and other food sources. These dogs, which are the ancestors of Alaskan Malamutes, belong to the Spitz family of dogs, which includes Akitas, Chow Chows, Siberian Husky, and many more breeds. Based on studies of the canine genome, the Alaskan Malamute is one of the most ancient breeds in existence. The relationship between the dogs and the people was a close one, with the dogs being well fed and cared for, and babies suckling on dogs along with puppies, both instances that can be pointed to as a basis for the Malamute's love of people. Malamutes became important in 1896 during the Alaska Gold Rush, when miners paid sky-high prices for sleds and dog teams. A good dog alone could cost up to $500, and a sled and a small team could run as much as $1,500. While the Malamute was popular, this was a dangerous time for the breed because many people crossed the Malamutes with other breeds to either increase their speed or their size. Fortunately, the Spitz genes were dominant and the Malamutes quickly reverted. The Bloodhound is calm by nature, but by no means lazy. Forget that image of the sleepy hound on the front porch. This is a working dog capable of trailing a scent for hours or even days. Life with a Bloodhound puppy can be best described as bedlam. Bloodhounds are master chewers and can easily destroy walls, doors, and furniture if left unchecked. They will also eat anything in the hope that it's food, including but not limited to rocks, socks, toys, plastic wrap, kitchen towels, etc. The list goes on and on. It's not unusual for this breed to require multiple veterinary visits or even surgeries to deal with intestinal blockages. Constant supervision and a good crate are essential to raising a Bloodhound puppy. A bored Bloodhound with energy to burn will create his own entertainment. He's a champion hole digger and can remodel your lawn in no time flat. Given the slightest opportunity, he will escape your yard to follow an intriguing scent and wander for miles before realizing home is nowhere to be found. He's not able to backtrack, so it's best to prevent breakouts by enclosing your yard as thoroughly as if it were Alcatraz or Fort Knox. The Bloodhound is renowned for his gentle nature, but beneath that placid exterior lies a tough, stubborn, independent hound. Training a Bloodhound requires skill, cunning, and what some might call bribery. Positive reinforcement, particularly with food rewards, is the way to win a Bloodhound's heart and mind. Force, on the other hand, will get you nowhere. When it's employed, the Bloodhound will simply don the mantle of passive resistance and refuse to do anything. For best results, begin training your Bloodhound when he's young and still somewhat malleable. To fulfill the Bloodhound's need to work, channel his amazing scenting ability with long, slow walks or hikes, permitting him to sniff out and explore trails. If possible, teach him to man-trail, as he's born to do it after all, and get involved in your local search and rescue organization. If nothing else, teach him to play hide and seek around your house. His skills will come in handy when you lose things. When you walk your Bloodhound, he must be on a leash, otherwise he'll take off when he finds a good scent, going at a pace that you won't be able to match. Bloodhounds have no street sense and will follow a trail into traffic or onto train tracks. Pulling is second nature to this very strong dog, so good leash manners are essential. Start teaching them as soon as you bring your puppy home and work with a trainer that the lessons are in fact taken. Before we continue, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, as it would mean a lot. Thanks. Alaskan Malamutes are friendly and love people. This makes them a wonderful choice for the active family that's got a thief alarm and doesn't need a Malamute for his watchdog abilities. That's because he doesn't have any. He's moderately vocal and will howl along with sirens or talk to you with expressive woo-woos. For a Spitz breed though, he's pretty quiet and doesn't typically become a barker. This dog is smart and curious, and he wants nothing more than to share his discoveries with his human family members. Discoveries like exactly how the sofa was put together, or what the interior of your car would look like without all that carpeting. The good news is that destructiveness in the Malamute is preventable and treatable. The cure is exercise and lots of it, no matter what the weather is or if you have the flu. Lots and lots of strenuous exercise. Hiking, pulling sleds in winter and carts in summer, although don't let him become overheated. Competitive weight pulling and formal obedience are all good outlets for his brain and his brawn. The Malamute is smart, learns quickly and loves you, but he's also strong-willed and independent. In bloodhounds, the most serious and potentially expensive health problems are hip and elbow dysplasia, eye conditions such as entropion as the eyelids roll inward, extropion as the eyelids roll outward, and a condition known as dry eye are potential concerns. Another health problems that may affect the bloodhound is hypothyroidism, a common hormonal disease in dogs in which the thyroid gland doesn't produce enough thyroxine. Not all of these conditions are detectable in a growing puppy, and it's impossible to predict whether an animal will be free of these maladies, which is why you must find a reputable breeder who is committed to breeding the healthiest animals possible. The Malamute is a fairly healthy dog, but he's at risk for some genetic diseases, including hip dysplasia. This is a particularly devastating condition for an active running dog like the Malamute. Make sure your breeder provides you with written documentation from the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals or the University of Pennsylvania, certifying that a puppy's parents are free of hip dysplasia. They can also suffer from inherited poline neuropathy, for which there is no screening test. This is a nervous system disorder that causes chronic lack of coordination and weakness in the dogs. The Alaskan Malamute Club of America participates in the Canine Health Information Center, a health database. Before any individual Malamute can be issued a CHIC number, breeders must submit hip evaluations from the OFA and eye test results from the Canine Eye Registry Foundation. The OFA certification of thyroid health is optional. Bloodhounds have short, easy care coats in black and tan, liver and tan, or red, and need only a weekly brushing or wipe down. That's where the easy part stops. The wrinkles must be cleaned regularly and kept dry to prevent infection. Be prepared to wash your bloodhound's face thoroughly after every meal and wipe his mouth after he drinks water before he shakes his head and sling water and drool everywhere. Use a rubber hound glove to brush the bloodhound's short coat, remove dead hair and distribute skin holes. You can brush the dog daily or weekly depending on your tolerance for finding dog hair around the house. Bloodhounds shed seasonally in the spring and fall. A tool called a shedding blade can come in handy during that time to help remove the excess hair. Bloodhounds typically don't need baths very often if they're brushed regularly. They have a distinctive odor that most people either love or loathe, so if you're a loather, don't think you can bathe the smell away. It's an inherent part of the dog and is something you must live with if you want a bloodhound. The Alaskan Malamute has a thick, coarse double coat. It's not especially high maintenance, as you can brush it a couple of times a week to remove dead hair and distribute skin holes, but it sheds year-round and more heavily on a seasonal basis. A Malamute's owner's best friend after his dog is his vacuum cleaner. Twice a year, Malamutes blow their coats. Picture mountains of hair drifting all over the house and attaching itself to every surface. The rest of the year, the shedding is much less, so much so that you might be able to get away with vacuuming only twice a day instead of every 4 hours. If you can put up with that, the Malamute is a pretty easy-cared dog. Bathe him every few months or whenever he's dirty. He doesn't need any special trimming to maintain his distinctive look. The rest is basic care. Trim the nails as needed, usually once a month, and good dental hygiene is important, so brush the teeth frequently for good overall health and fresh breath. Check the ears weekly for dirt, redness, or a bad odor that can indicate an infection. If the ears look dirty, wipe them out with a cotton ball dampened with a gentle ear cleaner recommended by a veterinarian. It's best to introduce your dog to grooming at an early age so he will accept it gracefully. Alright guys, which one do you think you'll get? Tell me down in the comments.